Are you taking care about your mental health? Because it's something that sometimes or almost every time we forget a little. And it's, I think, even more important than physical health. So if you want to learn a little bit more about it, please stay tuned because in a while I will bring Vincent to talk about this so important topic. Stay tuned. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another The Special Marketing Live Show. And today we're going to talk about mental health and how important it is to us, to all of us. And maybe we're not taking care of our mental health as we should do. I'm I let left Vincent on the basement. I think he already he's already used to be there because he's the second time he is my guest. And for all of you who are watching, please let us know where are you from. In which platform are you watching us? I'm gonna put an Halloween overlay. Let me see. Okay. It's not that spooky. So please let us know where you are watching us, and don't be afraid to make comments. If you are watching now, please use the hashtag live and to comment. And if you are watching the replay, hashtag replay to comment. And if the question or comment you are making is specifically to Vincent, please tag him so he can know that you are asking him something. So let me bring this amazing guy, Vincent, to the screen. Hello, Vincent. How are you?
Great, Marco. Thank you so much for having me back on your show. I'm excited to be here.
Well, it's a pleasure, my friend.
Mhm.
First time I had you, I think you had an amazing history to talk about it. Uh, just because of that, it's good to have you here as a guest, and because you have something to talk about it, which is a newborn. You have, I think it's good. Also, it's even better to talk about it. Okay, so Vincent, thank you so much for being here. It's a pleasure. It's an honor to have you here and to bring your amazing story to my show. I will ask you, please, to introduce yourself and then we can go to the conversation. Is that okay?
Absolutely. Hello, everyone. My
Perfect.
name is Vincent Lanci. I'm originally from New York, moved down to Tampa, Florida in 2009, earned my Bachelor's of Science in Finance and my MBA from the University of Tampa. But when I was 21 years old, I was the victim of a hit and run accident where I ended up in the hospital, waking up a week later out of a coma. Spent about a month in the hospital, was told I'll never walk or talk or do many things again. So I embodied this tell me I can't and I will philosophy. And thanks to Tampa General Hospital, I'm wearing their shirt today for a very special interview with you to talk about my mental health. And this whole transformative experience has led me to write my first book, Left for Dead, A Story of Redemption. Started a few podcasts, and now we have Mr. Lanci Talks Mental Health that went live this week.
Okay, perfect, perfect. And you mentioned something that it's interesting because you have this financial background, right?
Yep.
And then you came to this topic, which is not that financial. How did you came to this? Because usually we think about people from finances like numbers, very gray, very straight to the point, very square. And this topic is not that it's more emotional, it's more for our heart. How
Mhm.
did you fell in this world?
Well, after my accident, I realized it was time to put my mental health on a really, really high pedestal. I learned, like you said, to start the show, mental health is equally or maybe more so important than your physical health. If your mind's not feeling right, then chances are other things aren't going to go well for you as well. But I haven't looked back. Obviously, when you give up money in a finance job, very well compensated, I do love the art of finance, but I knew my story was bigger than myself and it's time to make a difference.
Wow, amazing, amazing, because it is. How How do you felt after recovering from that accident? How the first thoughts that came to your mind when you wake up, and then you realized what, because it took some time, I think, for you to realize what happened to you. Uh, which thoughts came to your mind after that?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to pinpoint the first thought, but just real confusion and denial for a while. And then once I finally had accepted what happened, things started to move rather quickly. That was the biggest thing was, all right, this is what happened. I'm in this situation. Now, how do I work with it? I either sit and sulk, why me, why me? Or I turn a really bad day for my family and I into something really great because I'm able to help people who have battled different adversities and help them overcome them.
Great. And the first book. How did you came to the first? Let's make the whole path to till to reach the last one. How do
I
you came to that first book? Because I think it's not that easy. Okay, you were okay on the bench looking at the trees, and then okay, let me write a book.
Well, after I spoke at graduate, I was selected by the University of Tampa faculty to deliver the commencement speech at my MBA commencement, and it's held at the Tampa Bay Lightning Arena, somewhere between 8,000 and 8,500 people. So for my first speaking engagement ever, there was a little nerves involved, but after I got some feedback and I learned that how much people really felt my story and were inspired by it, I thought, all right, let's maybe try to do this again. And I picked up a little quick momentum in the beginning, and then it fizzled out a bit. And once your network dries up, so you have to think, how do I continue to grow, share my story, build a brand, the Vincent A. Lanci brand? So I wrote Left for Dead, A Story of Redemption. It's the book behind me. And it's an autobiography to introduce you to who I am starting at birth, because I help you relate to my character throughout the whole story. And it leads up to my hospital stay. My mother had a journal where she wrote down all the ridiculous things I said, ate, felt. It was a very roller coaster ride while I was there to inspire people who have ever been in the hospital or who have family or friends in the hospital to kind of help them progress a little quicker. Because one of the things that would have helped me tremendously was having more interaction with traumatic brain injury patients. You hear from doctors, you hear from personnel of what should happen, what may happen, but it would really help to hear something out of the horse's mouth, if you will, and see how I could progress. So that was really the motivation behind this book. And I'm not going to tell you where the book ends off, but it was at a very big accomplishment for me that I'm very humbled to have. And I really recommend that book to everybody. If you're having a bad day, think you can't keep going, pick up Left for Dead. You're in a rut, pick up Left for Dead. Learn about my story, and then transition to Mr. Lanci Talks Mental Health.
Well, perfect, perfect. We have Paula from Texas watching us on LinkedIn. Hello, Paula.
Hello,
Welcome.
Paula.
So, and so this one, this newborn book, how did you came this idea? And because I think it's the third one, right?
This is the third book. I had written a second book, an ebook called How to Transform Your Mindset When the Norm Has Changed. I wrote that mid-pandemic because I've been working for 6 years, 7 years remote since really this happened. But I understand how difficult it may be for a lot of other people who thrive off face-to-face interaction, who are big extroverts and need that social, level. But as an entrepreneur, the book didn't really get out there too much because you need funding and marketing money to do a lot of things. But for my people who do support me, I had a lot of sales on it still. And I think that from the feedback I got, at least, it paid a major dividend for them.
Absolutely, because that you mentioned something that is important for people like us who works from home and do home office every day
Yeah.
for some years ago. It's we think, okay, it's not a big deal, I'm used to it, but we forget all the people which are not used to this and which has this problem. Okay, how to, where should I turn, which tools can I use, and how
Mhm.
to overcome everything. Because one of the things when you work from home, usually it's this loneliness uh, way. You're like the oh my god, the Lone Ranger. And Did you get that feedback from people who read your book about, okay, oh, I feel this is for me because I felt this I felt a little bit lost, and you gave me some clues about the path I should follow.
Well, entrepreneurship can definitely get very isolating. Like you said, you're really alone all day until you have a meeting or a FaceTime. But the feedback I got would help people the most was that I segment breaks throughout the day. I call them mental health breaks as, okay, laundry could be its own activity, or a 30-minute workout could be an activity, or prepping meals for the week could be its own activity. But if you integrate them throughout your workday, it helps rebuild your stamina, bring your mental and physical health back to their baseline, because that's very important. We're all victims of working too many hours straight. We're all victims of pushing ourselves to the limits. But as you continue this lifestyle, where, as you say, the Lone Ranger by yourself, you have to find ways to last and not burn out, because sometimes if you burn out, then your next week is really in turmoil, or 2 weeks even before you get back in your routine. I'm very strict right now. My kind of new way of life in the mornings is I wake up, I take a walk to my mailroom every morning, just a light 10-minute walk to get the blood flowing. I'll do a little meditation, and then I'll read for 20 minutes. And then once those are all done, head to the gym or do a little work before the gym. And I tackle my three most important tasks for the day every night before bed. That's something that helps me immensely, is I write down the three things so I don't waste any time. I get up when I'm ready to start working. I rock and roll. No time wasted.
Perfect, perfect. I don't know if you saw it. On Tuesday, I had this productivity specialist, and we talked about also writing down the day before what you should get done the next day. And I think and also we discussed about the importance of the balance between the mental and the physical, because, and I think it's something we should talk about, Vincent,
Yes.
because usually we don't give that importance to our mental health. And for instance, if you are sad, okay, oh come on, smile, it's everything okay, like. And I've seen this analogy on a book. It's like when you have a broken arm or broken leg, you turn to the person, okay, it's nothing, it's no big deal, come on, stay, start walking. Don't you think it's important to, because I think it's kind of this, how can I say it, it's mystified or something about mental health, because if you talk about mental health, it's like we are crazy, and it's like a taboo, you know.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, there are a ton of stigmas attached to the words mental health. People in the workplace are scared they'll get fired, maybe. There's a lot, especially men. There's not very many men who do speak about their mental health. And really, with the pandemic here, we were forced to slow down. The whole world was running on all cylinders. People would make excuses for not taking the time to worry about themselves because you're so drowned in your own work. And one of the things we talk about in the book, Mr. Lanci Talks Mental Health, is that you need to remember to be your own best friend too. You need to be supportive of others and for yourself. That social interaction is very key to not feeling alone, not feeling by yourself. Because whether you're an introvert or an extrovert, you still have to make time for that social interaction. And, that's not to give too many spoilers into the book, but there's 7 experts in the book, because the book's just it meant to really be a 7-day training resource. You improve your mental health for 7 days in a row. And then after that 7 days, we start turning them into habits, these practices. And after these habits, they become lifestyles. And then you're slowly but surely on your way, because it's a marathon. You need to have slow steps, slow wins, small gains. And then before you know it, your accomplishments, your goals are being hit.
Absolutely. Well, Tony, hello, Tony. Good to have you here.
Tony.
Well, the word I was looking for in my head was stigma. Okay, it's stigma about mental health.
Yeah.
Thank you. Tony, he's saying, I love the shirt. Ask me about my story.
Mhm.
People always use, I have a doctor's appointment. Yeah. And great concept. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Good habits, lifestyle.
Yeah, thank you for the feedback, Tony.
Yeah, thank you for being here. So, talking about the book, uh, what can I get from the book? I think one of the things we should do before, maybe before reading the book, is to know a little bit better about you. I think, Vincent, you have an amazing story. Then people should get to know you better. But inside the book, which big things I can get?
Uh, Oh yeah, it's remarkable. It's an extremely valuable resource, and the book is compiled of vital information to reach an optimal mindset. As I mentioned, me and 7 mental health experts around the country, we collaborated to create this book. I want to shout out the amazing illustrator Chris Bridge. We had the opportunity to compile this whole book via Zoom. She's in Houston, Texas. I'm here in Tampa, Florida. So the way we structured this book is we meet the expert of each chapter. You get to know who they are, learn a little bit about them, what they do professionally, and then they give their advice on certain topics that them and I created together. The next part of each chapter or day is a social distancing section. You give ways to apply this information right now in present time. This book wasn't meant for 10 years ago, maybe not even 10 years from now. It's meant for right now to help you thrive in this very difficult change of life that we all had to experience. You think we have a lot of stress. What about the kids in our lives, whether it's our cousins, stepson, stepdaughter, regular children, sisters, brothers? The whole world is already out of their hands. They all rely on their adult figures in their lives. So their stress is at a much higher level. The uncertainty is at a much higher level. So that's a very valuable area I created because I want to take mental health into the households and into the classrooms. I think it's important to improve your mental health around the clock, and that those actions will be contagious for other people as well. But one of the most valuable parts of the book is the activity in each chapter. There's an activity that's relevant to the information learned in that day that will make learning fun for you. And I just can't wait to get more feedback on the book.
Absolutely. Well, you talk about something that it's very important. I do trainings and classes, and one of the things I've been noticing is sometimes people like to learn, like to read and everything, but it's harder to implement things. Did you had any clue, any tip about this? Because you learn, you read the book, okay, it's very insightful, but the very next day you don't implement what you just watched. Do you
Yeah.
have any tips on that?
Yeah, each chapter you read actually will have associated tips with it. That's the best part about it because there's 7 experts in it, but there's different realms related to mental health in each section. One section will talk about eating healthy, nutrition, hydration. We have other sections that talk about gratitude, some yoga, meditation, to name a few. And these concepts, they teach them as if you're a beginner in some sense as well. And then there's also more sophisticated information to help all readers, whether you're new to the practice or you've been experiencing the practice and want to add a new technique to your repertoire.
Perfect, perfect. And which plans for the book? What do you want to achieve? Next step?
Well, obviously, every business has to niche down what they want to do, or you won't be successful. You can't just shoot 1,000 darts and expect them to hit. And I think all entrepreneurs learn that from trial and error and not wanting to miss the sale. But I really would like to niche this down to students. And a little background on this pandemic, I actually had written a children's book on entrepreneurship. I was on the last step of that project on the final sketches, and we had to separate the relationship due to just some communication difficulties and a lot of wasted time. So Chris Bridge and I created a mental health children's story. And after reading it, we decided that we might make this into a 7-book series, one for each expert in this new book, which we created, Mr. Lanci Talks Mental Health. This is really for readers middle school and higher, but due to the deeper dive section, which is the sophisticated information for the parents, it really is a resource for children and adults. So I'd love to really be zooming in, Skyping into schools, doing engagements with the students, having them have a copy of my book, reading it together. And for these school educational assemblies, I teamed up with a fellow University of Tampa alumnus, his music producer in Wildcard, and we created a mental health sing-along for students and even for high schoolers and adults because it will make you feel like a kid again, give that nostalgic feel, and a fun way to remember mental health topics was the joy behind that. Me and Wildcard created mental health Wealth as well, which is on my SoundCloud, my YouTube channel, which is my story with some music behind it. You'll really enjoy both to give you a little more feel of who I am, as you mentioned before, and what to expect in the book.
Perfect. Do you notice a difference to people how open they are related to the age, to the gender? I think our men's are a little bit tough to convince the importance of mental health, and maybe older people. Uh,
Yeah. You got to think here. My parents' generation, there was no mental health education at all. Everybody says, "Oh, I'm depressed, I'm depressed, I'm depressed." No, it's okay to have a sad day. It's okay to be upset. It's natural. People be happy and people get sad. But I think with the older generations than me, I'm 29, I believe that it is a much more difficult conversation. You have to think when you're a child, your brain's like a sponge. You retain all this information. And as you get older, you like what you like, you know what you know, you don't really want to expand your horizons. So that's something I'm really trying to tackle by having a deeper dive section here. It encourages you to sit with your children in their lives and learn it together and then work on that activity at the same time as well. I think that we're a long way from where we need to be, but I think over recent years, stigmas related to mental health have been decreasing due to celebrity figures and people with huge followings really using their voice because they have so many people that look up to them. But now it's also time for the people in the communities like you and I to do our part, spread awareness about the little things. And I'm hoping with this new book, Mr. Lanci Talks Mental Health, it will spread like a wildfire in a way where people see a man speaking at mental health, which is not very common. They hear about the value in the book between the activities, the social distancing, the parents section, the general advice from each expert, and they take it upon themselves to challenge themselves. And this is an open challenge to everybody listening and watching on now and in the replay. Care for your mental health. Take the time to do the little things because it will pay off and it will transition to your professional life, your personal life. You'll be a joy to be around and become a great resource for your friends and family.
I was thinking about Vincent before the accident. Okay, with your life, your friends, your work, or in the school or something.
Yeah.
And what happened after? Do you see people looking at you, Vincent? What the hell are you doing? What the hell? Because it's not your business, if you know what I mean. Do, have you noticed people, some saying it's weird because, and some who may get close to you and Vincent, tell me a little bit more about this because I want to learn more about it because I think you may find these two kind of people kinds of people because I know there's always these conservative people who
Right.
want you to stay in the same path all the way all the time, and those who find okay, this may be interesting, let me talk with Vincent.
Well, yeah. I mean, for one thing, I entered the public speaking field rather early, 25 years old. 20. I got my MBA before I was 25. I was 24 and I started speaking. And you have that age barrier where people discredit you based on your age. Oh, you don't have enough experience. Oh, you haven't been there. Oh, you haven't been here. But like every other business, you could either let it affect you and quit, or you can go ahead and use that as some motivation. I have some very close friends in the 9 to 5 realm when they hear the things I'm trying to accomplish. Get my book to full universities, get my book in the hands of big businesses, do all these things. Some of them do scoff at me and they think it's not possible because in 40 years, 30 years, they know where they're going. They have that pension, or if most companies don't have it, but they have their promotions in line. They see their roadmap. I do not see my roadmap. I am just excited to keep accomplishing things by forging relationships with great individuals like yourself, working with like-minded people, really challenging it yourself to become a better person. And now, as I'm slowly but surely earning more credibility with people, as for mental health example, my podcast has 55, 60 episodes to date aired, with another 10 or 20 recorded. My entrepreneurship podcast, we have 100 episodes almost live, 3 books. Now I'm starting to get a little more credibility. You get a bigger following on your social platforms. You have people really taking an interest to what you're doing, and you start to earn more collaborations that build your credibility as well. Individuals like you in Portugal, mentors that I've had people enter my life. My illustrator, Chris Bridge, who I became in a relationship with from networking with Dr. Denise McDermott, the worldwide brand Dalai Lama speaker, who is also an expert in my book. My mentors, Tony Alexander's in this book. A lot of relationships I'm able to make because I step outside my comfort zone. I DM people, I write to people, I do things that people don't do. And you know what? You can send 10 or 20 emails to people and one or two answer. And you play that numbers game, maybe you'll get a call with only one. But then next time you go out and do it, you may get 15 people to hit you back. You may have the best retention rate ever. You tweak yourself a little bit and you make magic happen. And I'm just really excited for schools, businesses to get this book in their hands, because although students are my main focus, because I relate on age, I've been in their shoes, I'm right here with them. I created that parent section, the deeper dive section, because if you're practicing these techniques as a parent, most likely your children are going to try to replicate you. They resent you. They're your kids. They want to be you. So take it upon yourself to set an example for others.
Perfect, perfect. Well, we have here some comments. I don't know who is it. Let me see, because his privacy definitions don't allow me to see who is it. Totally relate to this. And Tony is saying people need to use their platforms for good. Absolutely, Tony. And we have a big comment from Hunter. Hello, Hunter.
Hey,
Nice
Hunter,
to
how
have
are
you.
you?
I think not only everyday people can benefit greatly, but the foster youth, my nonprofit service will really benefit as well. I will definitely get in touch. This will help them to so much from the trauma they have experienced. Oh,
Hey,
thank you.
Hunter, thank you for your support. Let's definitely get together in a DM here on LinkedIn after the episode. I'd love to do that for you.
By the way, I'm Madalena. Olá, Madalena. By the way,
Hello,
Hunter,
Madeline. How are you?
you have a DM from me. Please take a look at it. That's again. Um, you talk also about consistency, which for me it's very important. And like in business, in mental health, and in habits, consistency plays a big role, right?
It's everything. Persistence and consistency are two terms thrown around loosely. You have to do it every single day, or not every day, but in a routine. Establish some sort of routine where, as an entrepreneur, many things are flexible, but there are a few things that are strict where I have to be consistent. I mentioned my walk every morning. I have a really bad leg. Was hit by a car. I mentioned, a victim of a hit and run accident. I have a rod in my leg, my titanium rod, 2 bolts in my knee, 2 bolts in my ankle. Weather shifts aggravate it. A lot of different circumstances make it not uncomfortable. So what do I have to do? I take a 5-10 minute walk every single day to stay loose. I come back to the house, do a little meditation. And for everybody out there who is skeptical on meditation too, every single person that tried meditation was skeptical of it. I had these crazy, unrealistic thoughts, and I talk about that in the book of what meditation really was, but it allows you to escape these thoughts, for me at least, and ground myself, whether it's just 5 minutes I do or a little more. I make sure I stay strict with that. After that, I do a little reading, because when you're busy, it's very easy to not read and put it to the side. And right now I'm reading podcast Guest Profits by Tom Schwab. He's the CEO and founder of Interview Valet. Had him on my podcast, What It's Really Like to Be an Entrepreneur, and he sent me his book. It was in the queue for a long time, and now I'm reading it. And after that, like I mentioned, 3 goals every day. I tackle the 3 things, the 3 most important things. And I have no strict time on those, because if I need to get it done, I need to get it done, with breaks if necessary. But then after that, I have 20-minute timers for my little petty tasks no one wants to do, going through your emails or editing a podcast episode, just little things. When I'm tired, I still hold myself accountable by setting those 20-minute micro tasks.
Good, good, good. Well, you talk about something, and I think it's good to see it in a mental health perspective, which is you told about, and I face this also because, as you know, I have I have interviews, I have these
Yes.
shows, And one thing we should do is to invite people. And sometimes, I mean, very not so often, very few don't even answer you. You send a mail, you send a message, and they don't answer you. And you make be okay, they don't like me, oh my God, because it's very hard to deal with rejection.
Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, people have, obviously 9 out of 10 times it's an excuse, not accountability. It's something when my platform continues to grow. Just stop wasting people's time. If you don't want to do something, say no. If you don't just say yes, 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 because we live in this society where people yeses everybody to death, they want to be friendly and that, I get it. But for people who are hardworking and value their time and their businesses, I would much rather you just say, no, I don't have time. I would respect it so much more than you keeping me waiting for sometimes weeks at a time for not consistent responses. And if you tell me you're going to do something, we're going to work together, you need my help with something, and you just don't answer the messages after, it kind of just takes me away because I would never do that to you. I've had people who ask me for connections at different places I have. I give them the connection and not only they don't use it, which is fine, I'm happy to help, but they don't even keep me in the loop, and I'll have to reach back out to them to make sure I didn't let them down. I've offered my Left for Dead books to many guests on my podcast, and unfortunately, I had to stop doing that because I would send them the book. I don't ask for money with it. I want them to learn my story. I sign it for them.
Mhm.
They don't even let me know they received the email. I mean, my goal with sending them a book is, hey, they don't have to make it a post on their social media, but maybe put it on a story. Thank you for letting me, just so I know you got it. So then I have to reach out back, email, hey, did you get the book? And they still don't answer sometimes. So I have no idea if some people got the book because people get busy, and I understand that. But if someone's willing to take time for your life, why not reciprocate that? Because you can continue to build a great relationship, continue to work together, and continue to make your goals come true together.
Absolutely, it's very important. Well, Tony
Yeah.
told about weak, wildly important goals.
The ghosting is this new thing, and you see it with some people I try to work with who are even younger than me, where they won't even answer because plans change or things change. Or now I'm having it with even people older than me, where why leave me hanging? We made plans. If something happens, it's okay. Things come up. That's life. But give me the courtesy of, this isn't going to work today. Let's reschedule. That's actually why my first book I wrote out of the three this pandemic was a children's book for entrepreneurship. And even on final sketches, I still had to pull the plug on the project, which is so hard to do. And as a business owner, I've learned from my mentors I consulted that there are going to be a lot of decisions which are uncomfortable to make, where I had deadlines, self-imposed deadlines from this illustrator. Hey, I'll have this much done this week. I'll have this done this day, this, that, whatever. He canceled 2 meetings on me morning of without any response, except I had to reach out and say, hey, are we still on? And they said, no, we're not. 3 other meetings were without some kind of workload, not to what they said they would. And it turned out I had a meeting with a middle school to sell this book to, a Zoom engagement to update them on the new illustrations, because I couldn't write anything until I couldn't add my writing or edit to it till I saw what the illustrator drew. I can't make edits if they're not ready. And then I had my meeting and I was unprepared, and it was a bad look for me because I had given my word to an administrator that I would have this done for you today, and I was unable to fill that commitment. Granted, they understood it was out of my hands, but I still put the pressure on myself as a business owner, as someone who takes a credible brand to heart, where if I give you my word, I'm going to do my best to fulfill that promise. Where granted, sometimes thing happens. And there's only one time I think in my career, granted, I am not that old. I am not trying to sound like I am, but I had one meeting that I forgot about once where I was truly, truly distraught because it was a phone call I wanted to had, and I got something I don't remember. It was about even maybe a year or two ago. It still sticks with me. So since then, I try my hardest, and now we're bringing on an assistant to the team soon, which is great. I had one for a while, but due to resources being limited as an entrepreneur, sometimes you have to take a little more on your plate than you would like. And now I'm still in the search for everybody listening on. If you're a college student, I'm able to provide college credits with the very real possibility of the internship turning into a paid role to some extent. I want someone who wants to be a business owner, but really hardworking is all you need to be. You can learn IRS filings, you can learn social media, website, I really just need some administrative email help. Social media, these younger students, they're way better at this than me. They know the algorithms that I cannot figure out. I have 7,500 followers on Instagram, and some of my videos get 100, 200, slowly creep to 500 views, which shouldn't be right. So I'm looking to bring on help because I acknowledge I'm not that great at everything. I try, I'm good at some things, but there are people who are certainly better at that than me. And I think it's important as I try to grow my businesses that I do outsource or reach out for help in areas that I'm not the best at. And I think my social media is good. I like it, but I think it could be better. And I don't want to just post, but I create value with my posts. And I think that someone out there who was a hard worker and loved to join my team, loves the things I stand for, loves the products and services I offer, would like to be a part of podcasts like this, learn how to network with the people in my circles, hop on some podcasts to just learn how to prep a show, find the guests like you do. You know, there's a lot of steps for each episode, editing it. There's a whole lot. And I just want to pay it forward to the people that helped me learn how to do this stuff. I want to help somebody else who's an ambitious go-getter join the team, the Left for Dead team.
Absolutely, because there's something you talk about, and it's important to mention. That is, we don't have to know everything, and we should not be good or amazing at everything.
Right.
Because sometimes we may get anxious, and I think on this social media era where everybody's so perfect, they are so amazing. Sometimes we feel this. Oh my God, I'm so little. I'm so nothing. And first of all, most of that people are fake. So we should not lay in this hole of thinking, oh, I'm not that good, or I should be good at everything, which is not true.
You have to really challenge yourself because there are going to be people I learned every step of the way that tell you you are not good enough. This can't be done. Your closest friends at times will doubt you either behind your back, or not. They will have the safe route. People at 9 to 5s, they understand the safe route. People that own their own businesses, social media is our business. I don't have a personal account with thousands of followers that I'm posting to live a fake life for Insta. That's not my style. It is some people's style to do that. I put the value out there. I explain to people what I do. And when you like my picture or you comment on my post, you're really supporting my business for $0 and 0 cents. There's no money associated with you hitting the like button instead of just scrolling past. And this is my business. I'm trying to build my brand, and I think I'm on my way. I think I'm doing the right things. But to see that where I'm going to be in another year, from 1 year ago today, almost sometime in a few weeks, I released my last book. Since then, I've been about 10 features on other people's podcasts or platforms. I've done a combined 150 episodes on my podcast. So I just want to see the growth again in 1 more year. Now with this new book, Mr. Lanci Talks Mental Health, I also have plans to release a book every year, at least right now, at least one, because I have to really capitalize on the one project. I can't go too fast. But right now it's Mr. Lanci Talks Mental Health. Next year, maybe the kids' book comes out first. Maybe it's the entrepreneurship book. I'm not going to spoil that right now. But I am excited for where the work is going. I can't wait to bring someone on my team, and I just cannot wait to continue to make a difference via entrepreneurship, via mental health. And right now, it's Mr. Lanci Talks Mental Health.
Absolutely. Well, by the way, next releasing, please let me know, and I will bring you here again.
It's an
Okay?
honor to be on here for this release, Tony. It really means a lot that someone who is outside the U.S. takes such a liking to the work I do. So I really can't thank you enough for having me on your
No,
platform,
my
helping
pleasure.
helping me get out there to your country, because Amazon, it is a worldwide thing. And granted, my store at vincentalanci.com will be launched sometime within the next 2 weeks with the merch that I've been putting out, which is a link in my bio as well, with the books. I can't compete with Amazon. The 1-day shipping's a lot out of my price range, and to be honest with you, but something I can offer in lieu of that is signing each copy you buy from my website with a personal message in each book. The merch that you can see at my link in bio, that will also be on my website, because I want to be able to give you the one-stop shop that you deserve. But as every other entrepreneurship can testify, resources are limited at times. So you have to take it one step at a time, not move too fast so you get backtracked and overwhelm yourself. I'm here to support all your endeavors, and I hope you can find some kind of value in mine, whether it's where I'm from, my age, and I'm excited for you to look into me a little more after this.
Perfect, perfect. Let us just take a look at the comments again. Well, a very good true. Tony
Yes.
say
Yeah, Tony,
spend
thank you
time
so
like
much for this great feedback.
currency. He says also it's okay to say no against going ghost on
I
me.
will never understand the ghost thing. I mean, accidents happen where you forget to answer somebody, but there's a fine line between ghosting and an accident.
Absolutely, because there's one thing I like to say about because when you do a phone call, it's not recorded. It's kind of normal if you forget something, but a written message which stays there.
Well, just yesterday, even, um, I had a Zoom recording in my Google Calendar. I will send you the Zoom link 15 minutes out to record. Please do not use this Google Meetup. Please, whatever. I give a whole very specifics. I want to be transparent for you. And yesterday, I ran into the issue where 15 minutes went by. I reached out. The assistant had not seen the Zoom, so that's an accident. But
Mhm.
last week I had a ghost recording as well, and they reached out to me 2 hours later saying sorry. I blah blah blah. It's absolutely fine if something comes up. It's happened to me. I have health problems. Granted, no COVID health problems this year, but I have my own health issues I deal with. When I have something come up, I reach out to people. Hey, I'm sorry I can't do this recording. I ran into a little issue. Let me get back with you next week. And 10 out of 10 times, or 9.5 for that one outlier, they realize that, hey, I'm a human too. Sometimes things do happen. I'm understanding we can reschedule.
Absolutely,
It is what
absolutely,
it is. I respect you for not wasting my time. But if I sit on a Zoom for 30 minutes, that 30 minutes can be applied to editing a podcast episode or finally getting through to some emails to not ghost people or networking like you and I. So, my big message, be transparent, forge relationships that matter with people that can help you, that can be in communication with you, because it will help you grow. You'll grow to levels that you could have never expected, because I never expected to be on a podcast with Marco here in Portugal 2 times, and I'm sure a third for the next project. So
absolutely, absolutely. So we have. It's important to know your strength. Absolutely. About your. I think, yeah, someone should sign up. Uh, okay, spot on. I've eaten behind the curtains for so long. It took people like you pushing me out of my comfort zone and helping me realize I had value to bring. Absolutely. It's
thank you for
very
the kind
important to,
words. Yes.
yeah, it's very important to give that step ahead.
Well, the thing is, too, Marco, a lot of people get offended with things, and I may have been back in the day, too. But once you learn that feedback is meant to be constructive, or if it's not, disassociate with the people who don't give you the constructive feedback. But you have to understand that things you do may look good to you, but it may not look good to anybody else. You have to
Absolutely.
learn how to take things positively, constructively.
Absolutely.
Because look at your
Absolutely.
brand. Look how big of a brand you have here, Marco. I'm sure you had some good advice along the way.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
And sometimes, and that's it. Sometimes some bad feedbacks from some, bad in the meaning of the word bad come, and I
Yes.
have to okay, go away. See, there you go.
Well,
Because
people are so quick to be negative and jump down
yeah,
your
absolutely,
comments and your comment section when things are, bad or they don't agree, or but when you have a major win and accomplishment and you've been seeing people finally speak out on their frustration on this, not a sounds. I have very, very supportive friends, but on the social media side of things, a lot of my biggest support is from people that I never met face to face. People that
yeah,
message
yeah,
me and want me to buy a book, I'll buy a book from me and I'll sign it to them, put it back out. They restory, my book trailer I put out, which I think looks awesome. I'm excited for you all to look at that book trailer, VincentAlanci.com, before you may buy the book, you want to see what's in it, that trailer based on and everything else we spoke about today, you'll find a lot of value in that.
Well, I just want to bring something to, because you mentioned your illustrator, and I want to bring the the book cover to to the screen because I think it's really good. Look.
Yeah. It looks just like me. You can't miss it. It's on Amazon and it is on my website through Amazon. It will be signed copies soon as well. But yes, a very, very special shout out to Chris Bridge, award-winning illustrator who has been with Barnes & Noble, Whole Foods. Her own series of work has incredible awards from around the country. And Dr. Denise McDermott, again, who introduced me to Chris Bridge. I can't be more thankful, I should say, for the opportunity to work with Chris on this book. And I'm really, really excited for y'all to check this book out. If you're in the Tampa Bay community, feel free to reach out to me on a DM or my email, info@vincentalanci.com. We'll go ahead and get set up. We can meet, get a coffee, and I'd be more than happy to sign any books out there.
Well, it looks very, very reading friendly.
Yes, we worked very hard, on putting this book together to be not only valuable, but an easy read and the ability to segment this on different days. As you see, these are all the sections in the book that we discussed, and you're going to love it. Can't say that with more confidence than that. I mean, you are going to love this, and not just because of me in the book, the 6 other mental health experts, the value they bring, it's something really special, and I'm really, really grateful to have been one of the people in this book, not even the creator of the book, being someone just in this book, because I'm humbled by the association of the other experts in this book that they were so willing to join me on this endeavor, join me in this book, make a difference with me. So I'll take this time to shout out each expert in the book, starting in their days: Dr. Richard Basio, Chris Bridge, Tony Alexander, who is actually in some of these comments, Mr. John Infeld, Denise McDermott, Mr. James Durand. Those are the 6 other experts, and they all talk about different sections, subsets of mental health, in which they are experts. Granted, I am not an expert on all parts of mental health. I am working to grow in each area, but the areas I speak on, I sure do consider myself an expert on through several years of, working towards my mental health, recovering from a traumatic brain injury, having the darkest days with a broken leg and a TBI. And I've gotten past that, which is a testament to, as any situation may be, dark, really difficult, you will come out, you will thrive as long as you keep your mental health intact. And my book can help you do that.
Perfect. But I have to ask you something, Vincent. Can you please write down the URL from your from people can get your book on the private chat here, so I can put it on comments, please?
Yes, thank you very much for the opportunity to do so. It's going to be vincentalanci.com, and I also do own vincentlanci.com. Believe it or not, there are a bunch of other Vincent Lancis out there, even on LinkedIn, which gave me the idea to go with the Vincent A. Lanci brand. And I also thought, hey, I may lose support from people if they go to the wrong website without that A in the middle. So we do own Vincent Lanci and vincentalanci.com. My email is info@vincentalanci.com, but I do as well own info@vincentlanci.com. I do not want to miss the opportunity to anyone.
Okay,
to
there you
connect
go.
With anybody. Yeah,
it's down there. Let me put it up. Let me share it also on comments.
Yes, thank you for giving me the opportunity to share that, Marco.
So people can. There you go, on LinkedIn as well. Okay, so let me take now this from the screen. It's just the 2 of us. Now, Vincent, it's time to bring the suggestions. As usual, I ask to my guests. I think you already may seen this. Let me just make my little intro. There you go. So we came to the guest suggestions, where I ask my guest to give us some suggestions, which are a shout out to a professional that you think I may guess who you will recommend to follow. A book you want to recommend, a habit you have, a tool, a movie, and a TV show.
All right. Well, let's start at the top. Someone I'm going to shout out would be the person I was introduced to, Marco Tony Alexander. He's an expert in my new book, Mr. Lanci Talks Mental Health, which is obviously going to be the book I recommend. I've read the book 100, 200 times already because I had to rewrite it, edit it, make it extremely valuable, filled with immense value for everybody that picks it up. But yeah, Tony Alexander, reach out to him as well. One of my main mentors in my life. He is an incredible resource to me and very thankful for the relationship him and I have continued to forge. He's been a guest on my mental health podcast, A Mental Health Break with Vincent A. Lanci, twice, one as an original guest and one for a bonus episode of COVID Talks. He is in the works to hop on What It's Really Like to Be an Entrepreneur for his incredible business that he runs, over 10 years of success. So wishing him much more success as well.
I I couldn't guess it was
All right. So that was the book. That was the mentor. What's next, Tony?
a tool.
A tool I use. I would probably say, as we alluded to before, with a good old pen and paper. It's write down the 3 most important tasks you have that next day. This may be different whether you're a 9-to-5 life or as an entrepreneur, but I promise, try it for a week, and then reach out to me or email me. Let me know how it works, because I promise your productivity will be through the roof. Incorporate breaks as needed. Don't try to work 5 hours straight. Make it happen, and let me know how it goes.
Perfect. A habit you have.
A habit I have. I'll give you a good
Well,
one.
I have to before answer. Please take take. It should be legal and healthy.
Yeah. I was just joking, and if you know me, you know that was a joke too. I'd say a habit that I would like to recommend to everybody is some form of exercise, and that is dual purpose. That is mental health and physical health. That exercise does not need to be squatting, lifting physical weights. It does not mean busting your hump with breaking your body. If you can do that and you enjoy doing that, right on. But it can be as simple as a walk in the morning. Leave your cell phone at home. Something that was actually recommended to me by another expert in the book, Dr. Richard Basio. He's an emergency resident physician out in Miami. Says, put your phone down when you go on that walk. Take in the sounds of nature, the natural sounds, the vehicles, maybe just natural sounds. That walk will set you up for success throughout the rest of the day.
Perfect. And now a movie.
Okay, I think I'm going to recommend 2 movies here.
Okay, perfect.
I'm going to recommend a motivational movie, something that I think will take you tremendously through life, and it is a movie you may have seen as well. It's called Miracle. It's based on the 1980, or not 1980, excuse me, the Olympic hockey team, the men's Olympic hockey team, Coach Herb Brooks. The movie is unbelievable, and it will give you the motivation to push through it all. And my personal favorite movie, that is non-business related, really outside my realm, because I want to, really enforce that we are all humans. We have different interests and stuff.
Absolutely.
And it was a movie that I saw because Ray Liotta is actually a little older than my movies, but my favorite movie is because of his roles in Goodfellas. They're some of my oldest favorite movies. I love old movies without the special effects in them and all that stuff, even though there are a lot of great movies out now. But I do love Miracle, and I do love Goodfellas. Those are my 2 movies.
Perfect. And a TV show.
I have a tendency to, I don't know if it was after my accident. I like what I like. I'm loyal to everything. My barbers, you name it. I like to rewatch TV shows. And right now, I'm actually rewatching Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad is a show that's very popular on AMC. When I can watch TV, I try to. I like TV shows more than movies. I like to follow the storyline. Maybe it's the author in me who likes chapters. So, and I pick up autobiographies, which alludes to my different taste in music, movies. I can get motivation from anything. It doesn't have to, I pick up someone's book, their autobiography may stick with me and motivate me from where they're from, or their first job, their first career. I really just try to expand my horizon, which also helps me on what it's really like to be an entrepreneur in my podcast. Because I want all industries, because there may be someone in finance who grew up somewhere, my listeners listen to, and that resonates with them, even though they're writers or they're creatives. So tune into that as well.
Well, perfect. Hello, Erica. Good to have you here.
Hey, Erica.
Erica saying yes, leaving your phone alone for an hour a day is a great practice, and it doesn't count if it's while you're sleeping. Okay, so
Well, I had to really learn because I run so many social media accounts. Hopefully, an intern picks up for me soon. But now I post. I go down the timeline. I like every picture that's in one timeline because I support whoever for my following, and then I hop off. I don't waste time on social media as much anymore because it is a rabbit hole and one you don't want to go down.
absolutely, absolutely. Well, Vincent, almost finishing. Just let people know where they can find you besides your website.
Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to do so again. For everybody who wants to support me, you can go to the hub, Vincent A. Lanci or vincentalanci.com. You can get to everything from there. I have my 2 podcasts, What It's Really Like to Be an Entrepreneur and A Mental Health Break with Vincent A. Lanci. I know they're long and typically not the right marketing advice that you can give for something that long, but I'm more concerned with giving the value into the episodes, and I think I do that. My books, Left for Dead, A Story of Redemption, How to Transform Your Mindset When the Norm Has Changed. But my new one, Mr. Lanci Talks Mental Health, please reach out to me. Tag me if you pick up a copy. I want to hear what you think of it. And am I missing anything? Granted, we have social media for all my endeavors, but you can get them at Vincent A. Lanci on all social media and YouTube, at Vincent A. Lanci, Lanci.
Perfect, perfect. Well, we came to the end.
Thank you so much, Tony. I mean, Marco, Tony listening on, Erica
Yeah.
out here. I saw Hunter. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Vincent. I'm look forward to see the next book coming.
Stay
Please let
tuned.
me know. Let me know. Well, I will be sneaking, paying attention, and of course I will bring you again to my show next time you have something to share.
Thank
And
you.
thank you so much. Thank you to all of us who were watching now live and then who are watching the replay. Please drop comments and let us know if you want and have any question or any doubt. Please and tag Vincent so he can be notified about your comment. Okay. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Erica. Thank you, Malena,
Thank you, everybody. A
Hunter.
lot of people
Thank
over
you.
there. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much for being here. And we will be back soon. Take it's not enough by these days. Take care. Take lots of care because we are through very challenging times. So see
Thank you.
you very soon. Bye bye.
Bye bye.